is good, everybody? Gamer Critic back. The Game Awards 2025 wrapped up, done, dusted, finished. So I just wanted to take a few minutes, come on here and discuss what I thought of it. Did I call it the Game Awards? Sorry, I meant to call it the Clair Obscur Awards or the Expedition 33 Awards or any other version of that name you want to give it, because that's basically what it was. To the surprise of absolutely no one, Clair Obscur swept. It took everything. I've got my own personal thoughts on that, but I'll get to that a little later. Right now, how is the show as a whole? The show as a whole, it was good. I liked it. I did not enjoy it as much as last year. I think last year still had problems, but I feel like that year had the best surprises, the best diversity amongst its winners, the best announcements in a long time. And I think 2025 has a little bit of that, but it was hindered by a few things I'm just not a fan of. I'm just gonna nip this in the bud. I would really start by talking about the awards, but what is there to say? Clair Obscur won everything. I'm pretty sure that every award that Clair Obscur was nominated for, it won except for two, and that was the Player's Choice, which is just another example of why fans should not be voting for anything. Weathering Waves? Really? That's what beat Clair Obscur and Dispatch, another anime gotcha game? Come on, people. We gotta do better than that. But they lost that, and they also lost audio, which, honestly, okay. I am happy about that because Battlefield 6's audio was great. It deserved it. Personally, I would have liked to see it go to Silent Hill F, see that walk away with something, but good on Battlefield 6. Literally everything else, it got game direction, it got narrative, it got music, it got art direction, it got best RPG, even RPG, come on, that was, okay, so look it. Because see, there's a lot of discourse going on the internet right now about Clair Obscur, and it's sweeping all the awards from equally amazing games. And there is such a thing as having a balanced take, guys. I feel like that's something people, I go on the internet and I see everyone talking in such freaking extremes. It's like, it's impossible to have a middle ground anymore, because that's where I lie. I am in the middle. Look, I'm not gonna sit here and pretend like Clair Obscur Expedition 33 didn't deserve it. It started off as a small project where they were literally looking on Reddit for voice actors and turning into this award-winning, massively loved Game of the Year win. And you know, even the awards that, yeah, maybe could have and, you know, even should have gone to other games, it's one of those things where even though you wanted to go to something else, if somebody tells you the argument of why Expedition 33 got it, you would sit here and be like, yeah, okay, that's fair. I get it. Because Clair Obscur Expedition 33 in a lot of ways is a really strong achievement, and I think giving it the flowers that it's due at this award show, even if it is a sweep, is really understandable. Now, that's one side of the coin. On the other side of the coin, 2025 was too good of a year. This is a year that's going down in the books as one of the best easily. So I do understand the frustration and, you know, even agree to some extent. Clair Obscur Expedition 33, as great as it is, I just believe there are some categories that A, it shouldn't even have been nominated for, and B, that it does really well, but I just truly think there are other games that came out from this year that do that aspect better. And I feel like the biggest things that it comes down to here are best RPG and both of the indie categories. Now, to throw in a little extra shade, because I'm that guy, I'd even argue that it didn't deserve game direction. I think that should have gone to Split Fiction. I think its integration of multiplayer is really impressive. And I also think it shouldn't have gotten art direction. Sorry, but I really feel like if there was one thing Death Stranding 2 should have gotten, it was art direction. Because the art direction in that game is amazing. But those are debatable. The three biggest ones that I do think are pretty egregious are debut indie, and RPG. Starting with the indie ones, I just don't even think Clair Obscur should have been nominated here in the first place, personally. And you know what? I don't even blame Expedition 33 for this. I blame the Game Awards and just this industry as a whole, because the definition of what an indie is has gotten so wonky. And for me, for what I think of an indie game, Clair Obscur, with its modest budget, relatively decent development size, you know, not just counting the core 30 people that worked on it, and the fact that it did get a publisher, I do think that is something to consider when discussing, you know, the best indie game. But you know what? I'll extend an olive branch too. By that ground, Hades 2 shouldn't be considered an indie too, which, fair enough. Hades 2 and Dispatch shouldn't be considered for, but I think from this point going forward, we need to be more definite and clear on what an indie game is. I don't know. I'm just not a big fan of Clair Obscur getting 2 of the best indie categories, because I myself just don't see it as indie. I see it as AA. I also don't like that KCD2 didn't get best RPG. This one is also subjective, but I also see a lot of people take issue with that. I see a lot of people, even Clair Obscur fans, say that while Clair is an amazing game and deserved the Game of the Year, KCD2 should have gotten something, and that something should have been best RPG, and I agree. I'm not happy about that. That was a freaking rip. KCD2, I think, is one of the best RPGs to come out in years. I love it to bits. It's probably in my top 5 favorite games of this year, easily. It's amazing, and I think it should have won that, just because I think it's the better RPG. Now, I understand one's a Western RPG, one's a JRPG, different styles of RPGs, but last year, my favorite RPG was Final Fantasy VII Rebirth, and the year after that, my favorite RPG was Sea of Stars. So I'm not opposed to turn-based JRPGs getting a win. I just think what KCD2 did this year is very impressive and shouldn't have been ignored. But them's the breaks, man. It's just, you know, what can you do? At the end of the day, you understand why Clair Obscur won. It really is a great game, and the team really should be really proud of what they achieved. I just think what makes an award show really fun is diversity. That's kind of what made last year so much fun, is that there were so many games that were on equal footing that you really didn't know what games were gonna get what, or what game was gonna be Game of the Year. But when you go into an award show knowing that all of it is just gonna go to one game, it does make it kind of boring and a little disappointing that other equally amazing games don't get the love that they, you know, deserve. But them's the breaks. I'm not gonna pretend to not be happy for Clair Obscur and not pretend why it didn't get it. But I'm just saying it would have made for a much interesting and much more enjoyable show if there was a little love given across the board. I should also, you know, count my blessings that Hades 2 and Hollow Knight Silksong got something. One got Best Action Game, the other got Best Action Adventure, which I think is, you know, good. It's good that they got something, but I just can't be happy that DS2 and especially KCD2 and Split Fiction didn't get a goddamn thing. That just bothers me. But a lot of people aren't watching this award show for the awards. They're actually just watching it for the trailers. And how were the trailers? They were honestly pretty good. You know, I'm trying to keep this video from being too long, so I'm just gonna talk about the game reveals that really interested me. We honestly got some real good stuff. The pre-show started off pretty damn good with a few games that I'm interested in. There's this really cute dog game called Free Shepard that is like coming out in 2027. That looks adorable. Look at this little guy. He's so cute. There was a really neat looking action game called Stupid Never Dies. It gives like serious wild lollipop chainsaw vibes. It's like something about a zombie that falls in love with a girl, and now that zombie needs to go on an adventure to save her or something. I don't know, but it looks weird and wild and something you would see from like a 2000s game. I'm all for it. I love it. One other game from the pre-show that really interested me was this game called Bradley the Badger, or Barley the Badger, something the Badger, something like that. It actually looks really fun. It looks like it's like a game-breaking thing that is like inherently making fun and poking fun of like a lot of other games. Really interesting. I hope it comes to console. Right now, right now I only see a Steam thing, which kind of bites. But hopefully it does, because I'd buy that. And then after that, we got to the main show. We saw a really awesome trailer, really dark-ass trailer, so fucking vile that YouTube actually had to age restrict it. It was brutal. I'm honestly, sometimes I get really shocked that they would allow a trailer like this to be shown at the Game Awards at all. It was brutal and disturbing. And then we found out that it was Larian's next game in the Divinity franchise, which is great. We don't know anything about it. We don't know when it's coming. We didn't even see any gameplay. It was just a cinematic, which, kind of bites. But it still looked cool, and it has my attention. And then we have one of my personal favorite reveals of the show. Soma is one of my favorite games of all time. And so when I saw this say the creators of Soma, I lost my shit. And this Ontos game looks just as wonderfully fucked up with so many disturbing images. The one with that lady tearing off her skin is ingrained in my head. It's disgusting. Also, kudos to Frictional Games. I'm not sure if they're using a new engine or something, but they really stepped up the production value here. I like it. But it's slated for 2026. I'm excited. It looks awesome. The worst kept secret in the industry as of right now, we finally saw Leon as the second protagonist of RE9. That looks awesome. Not much to say, except it looks like more RE, not in a bad way, but it just, looks awesome. We got another look at Exodus. We got a 2027 release date. Damn it, I wanted 2026, but them's the breaks. It looks awesome. Looks like the Mass Effect game we've all been waiting for. I can't wait for that to show up. Probably my second favorite announcement of this show. Control 2 announced. Alan Wake 2, for anyone who doesn't know, was my game of the year in 2023. So Control 2 looks as delightfully weird as that game. But the boys at Remedy say that this one is going to be bigger and crazier. It's supposedly going to be the biggest game that they have ever made. And they made it an action melee title. Awesome. I am sold. And the little bit of gameplay that we saw just really hooked it in. I am ready for this one to show up. I hope this doesn't get a delay. Please let it hit 2026 and is half as good as Alan Wake 2 was. We are going to be eating so good. So good. I mean, my God, just look at this shit. Just look at it. Oh my God. Remedy Entertainment has some of the best art direction in the industry. My fucking word. And if we don't get a musical number here, I'm going to be disappointed. That's all I'm saying. Anywho, looks incredible. I am insanely pumped. Let's hope we don't have to wait too long. Lego Batman, I have to say, I'm not a Lego fan. I am a Batman Arkham fan. And TT Games is doing what freaking Rocksteady can't seem to do anymore. So just for that, I think I have to buy this game. It actually looks really good. We got 2 new Tomb Raider games. That was a surprise. I mean, I gotta be honest. I was expecting just one. I really wasn't expecting 2. We got a brand new Tomb Raider game called Tomb Raider Catalyst coming out in 2027. And then we got a remake of the first Tomb Raider game coming out in 2026. Tomb Raider Legacy of Atlantis. That looks solid. Actually, really solid. I'm honestly impressed with how good it looks. I really like that they're bringing her classic style back, but really mixing it up with the Survivor franchise a bit and the way that she looks. I gotta say, it looks pretty solid, and it's coming in 2026, so we don't have to wait for too long. We got to look at a new Star Wars game, Fate of the Old Republic. I can't get too excited for it. It's just a cinematic, but that looked pretty neat. Honestly, for me, the announcements, the reveals, they hit pretty hard. And then we got to the last reveal of this show. High Guard, first-person shooter, multiplayer game. Why do they keep doing this? The funny thing is, I'm sure the game will even be good. I'm not gonna knock it before I try it. I'm sure the game will be good. But in this day and age, if you end the show on a game like that, you're gonna get roasted. That's just the way it is. And frankly, I just don't think that was a particularly strong way to end the show. And the fix is so simple. If they had put that High Guard game near the beginning and put the Divinity trailer at the very end and make that the last reveal of the show, I guarantee we would be looking at this completely different. Completely different. So those are really all the announcements that interested me. And for the most part, again, until we got to the ending, I would have said this is one of the strongest paced shows that we've had yet. You know, very few slouches. The only thing is that there weren't any announcements here that were like as insane as what we got from last year. I mean, don't get me wrong, there was great stuff, hyped stuff. But you know, still, even though this was better, it's still plagued with a lot of the same issues. Advertisement fucking galore, a bunch of weird celebrity moments like that Street Fighter cast thing. I could have done without all that. And I don't understand Jeff's obsession with the Muppets. I just don't get it. And I don't understand Jeff's obsession with the Muppets. I just don't get it. Why does this man feel inclined to have the Muppets here every single time? I'm not saying it's awful. I like the Muppets, actually. I just don't think this is the right place to have them. But to be fair, the actual show itself was not bad. It was actually pretty solid. They did let the devs speak. We heard some nice speeches and some nice sentiments among all the winners. The announcements were honestly pretty on point until the very end. And of course, even though it did sweep, I can't say I'm not happy to have seen Clair get all its love and its praise, because it really does deserve it. All in all, I don't think this was as good as 2024. It's just not. 2024 is the gold standard. But I think compared to other years like 2023 or even 2022, I do think that this is still an improvement. I still think that it was still good. It was enjoyable. I just really hope that next year we get more diversity among the winners and we get a better ending. And while I do wish that other games got some love, all kudos to Clair, and I really hope that the makers of that great game are just as happy as we are. Damn it, I just wanted more diversity among the winners. Oh, and the orchestra, once again, fucking sensational. That orchestra is never just not amazing to listen to. But that was my thoughts on the Game Awards 2025. Again, solid show. I just wanted more diversity. I wanted my KCD2, DS2, and Split Fiction to get some type of love. But you know, at the end of the day, the show could have been a lot worse. But that's my thoughts. Thank you guys so much for watching. If you enjoyed the video, like and subscribe. It helps a ton. My next video is my Dispatch review. Expect that either at the end of this week or next week. I'll keep you guys posted on what I'm doing. Be good people, and I will talk to all of you very soon. All right, peace.